listening to the LOZ Podcast Network.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the LOZ Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ken Lawler. And look, you might be watching us in the LOZ app, in the LOZ Podcast Network, or you might be listening to us on KRMS Radio on Saturdays from 10 to 11. We call it the Big Simulcast, and we love our collaboration with KRMS. Remember, if you want to listen to any of the stations on KRMS, 93.5, sports, whatever it is, you just go into the LOZ app, you hit the media button, and with one tap, you're listening to any of those stations, whether you're on a walk, whether you're on a boat ride, whether you're in your car, anything you want to do, make sure you tune in and get all the great programming on those stations. Today on the LOZ Podcast Network, we are talking to our old friend, Billy Boulden. Billy, how you doing?
Doing fabulous. Thank you for having me.
And, of course, Billy is with Weichert Realtors, Lori Realty. I want to say Realty 5 more times, but I think we're done.
I think we're good. There's just an awful lot of tradition behind Lori Realty, the name. We're the oldest continuously operating real estate office at the lake, maintaining just one location that whole time. So we're pretty proud of that legacy.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? It's funny that you bring that up because we're recording a series. We just did our first one yesterday that's going to be debuting in a couple of weeks called the Jeffrey Sessions. And what we're doing on there is we're talking to people around the lake, like the Browns, like the Dinkies, Cheryl Duncan, Kim Ebling, all the people that were here, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s that kind of built the lake. And, history is a great part of what we do, isn't it?
It is, and it's surprising how much history we really have here at the lake. Another family, the Moores, is an example. They were here and owned an awful lot of land before the lake even was.
Yeah, and people forget, this was a river basin, basically, and so people owned land all along it. They came in and dammed it up, and so, there's a lot of history there, and that's what we're hoping to do in the Jeffrey Sessions is we're kind of delving back into the lake and kind of what is the history and how we got here, because let's face it, this is a vibrant community. It seems like since COVID, it hasn't stopped, particularly on the real estate side, which you're an expert on. Talk a little bit about what happens with, the normal, we used to have seasonality and kind of when people bought and didn't buy. What's going on right now?
Well, things have changed an awful lot. When I first started working in real estate here almost 10 years ago, if you drove through town anywhere on 5 on the west side of the lake on a weekend in the off season, you were driving through a ghost town. Now, if I try to do a left turn out of my road onto Highway 5, sometimes I got to wait 2 or 3 minutes. Even now, as we approach August, which traditionally used to be one of the slowest months of the year, but because of a combination of factors, it's almost like the perfect storm, if you will. COVID woke a lot of companies up to the fact that people can telecommute. Here at the lake, Como was one of the first companies in the nation, or co-ops in this case, that invested in fiber optic before fiber optic was popular. So we have an awful lot of properties, communities, neighborhoods, and even very rural areas where you can telecommute and have gigabit internet speed and live as rural and out in the boonies as you want. Another thing is, because of technology and COVID and political upheaval, a lot of people have chosen to get away from the big cities and they want to live rural. And we offer both rural living and the ability to stream your media, because we only have a few local TV stations. You only have half a dozen radio stations where you might get a good, clear signal. And we love our KRMS and that. So
we do too.
We're not complaining at all. They're great friends and we've been with them for a long time. I will say, though, the ability to not give up the luxuries that technology can provide for you and still the ability to live lakefront, not have too many neighbors, or live out in the middle of the woods and not have any neighbors. That's something that's very desirable. So we are seeing that though seasonality may still exist, it doesn't have near the impact it used to. It's a great place to live year round. You don't have to live here just 2 or 3 months out of the year anymore.
Yeah, and I think you and I have talked a lot about AI and the prevalence of what that's going to bring to how we work, how we interact. I think that's going to free up a lot more time for people. I think we're going to see work weeks reduce, and that's going to leave more time for leisure activities. And certainly, Lake of the Ozarks is poised to take advantage of that because if you can reduce a work week down to 30 hours and you now can do a 4-day weekend every weekend at the lake, sure makes purchasing a place a lot more desirable because you get a lot more use out of it, right?
Yes, you actually bring up a good point. Um, because
I
of
do that every once in a while, Billy. Every once in a while, I have one good point. I appreciate you pointing that out.
I appreciate the fact that you bring up both good points and good, a good bat every now and then. No, the cool thing is about the lake is it's more about lifestyle. Why did I move to the lake 10 years ago? Well, to get away from that hectic urban lifestyle. I definitely don't regret it. And most of our clients are looking for a higher quality of living that comes from a change of both perspective, scenery, and lifestyle. Um, we're working with several developers right now who are trying to create what we call workforce housing. That means homes that are affordable for young families that, uh, live and work at the lake, not just semi-retired folk or retired folk who are moving here. I remember just 5, 6 years ago, you could divide the lake area up into based off of where they were coming from. Here everybody was coming from Kansas City and surrounding, areas. And you went over to Sunrise Beach and they're all coming from St. Louis and surrounding areas. That's no longer the case. And it's because a lot of people are coming to live. We still have almost 2/3 of our homes at the lake are not a primary residence, but we also have a larger percentage of people that are moving and living at the lake, but not calling it their primary residence because they may still hold interest in businesses elsewhere.
Yeah.
Um, so we have a lot of what I will call pseudo full-timers.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I fit in that realm. I'm pretty much here most of the year, but I have a couple other places I go, and it's nice to be able to dip in and dip out and still feel like you're part of the community. And let's face it, I really believe the way we work and the way people are interacting with their job has changed dramatically. I don't think people give it enough credit. I mean,
100%.
it's completely different than we were when we were in 2010. It's just not the same. And some of that's a good thing. Some of it's, I think, a sad thing. I think a lot of our young people, and you mentioned young people, and we're trying to keep young people here in the market. We're trying to keep them staying here to work here, to start families here, create jobs. But it's a whole different thing for them. They don't even understand what it's like to go into an office every day.
They not only don't understand that, but a lot of the employment that's available to younger people, we're meaning non-retirement age, under the age of 50 and 60, at the lake, the majority of the employment opportunities here are service industry. One of the things that is very cool about the changes in the dynamics of society nationwide is basically people don't cook for themselves very much anymore, particularly as you get older. So guess what? We have a lot of restaurants at the lake. And because we're not so seasonal, these restaurants are open year round now.
Which was never the case before, particularly on the west side where you're at. I mean, you'd have a hard time finding bread and milk on a Monday or Tuesday in the off season.
Yeah, it's funny, but we used to joke for a long time there was a Dollar General, every 15 minutes. But now we are seeing, just about every business. I can name only about 3 restaurants on the west side now that truly closed for the winter, maybe 5 if I think hard, but it used to be almost every one. It was the exception, the one that stayed open year round.
And you guys are positioning yourselves for that growth. I know you are pretty proud of what your team's done over there and what they've been able to put together the last year. And you guys have a good thing going, don't you?
We do. We're blessed. I feel so immensely blessed. I did this to get out of an industry that I didn't enjoy. I fell in love with helping people. And then as we grew, I realized I needed help. And I've been blessed to have some amazing people choose to work with me. Over the last year, we are up, we're more than double our production and volume last year.
Wow. That's
Uh,
huge.
and we actually even have fewer agents because we started focusing on culture, a culture of taking care of clients. I have some, if you look at the top 100 agents within our board of realtors, then we've got 6. And we don't have the largest number of agents, yet we're consistently in the top 5 or 6 for volume. If you count number of transactions, we're number 2. And when you compare that to some of the really large offices for number of agents, what that means is our agents are taking care of people. People are recommending us. I invite everybody, come visit us, come find out why our clients love to work with us and keep coming back to us.
And it's so easy. All they got to do is go in the LOZ app in the real estate section, and you guys are all over that section. They can go in there and call you guys and see your listings. Billy, we love having you on the show, man. We're going to have you back real soon. You always give great insight on what's going on. Good luck for the rest of the summer, and thanks for joining us on the LOZ Podcast Network.
Always a pleasure. Hey, guys, remember, if you're looking for an open house, go into the app. It'll guide you right to them, and we have nearly 100 listings now, so we've always got a few every week.
And we sometimes have as many as 50 or 60 open houses in there, so it's a great resource for people to look. And by the way, did you know, Billy, that you could be in your boat and find those open houses in the LOZ app as well? Just a little tidbit.
We actually had an open house recently where someone boated to the open house, and they found them via LOZ app. So we love the app, and we wish more and more people would plug into that, because those open houses can make all the difference in the world, because looking at something online is not the same as looking at it in person.
There you have it. The great Billy Boulden, Weicker Realtors, Lori Realty. Say Realty 3 more times and you got it.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you, Billy. Thank you, buddy. All right, everybody, we'll be right back after these words.